Let me ask you something. How many people do you think actually retire with $1 million saved in their retirement accounts? Be honest. If you scroll social media long enough, you'd think almost everyone is casually crossing seven figures before they hit 65. It feels normal. It feels expected. It feels like if you don't get there, you somehow failed. But here's the truth most people never see. Almost no one actually makes it. And once you understand the numbers, it changes the way you look at money forever. We're not talking about home value. We're not counting cars, jewelry, or a small business that might sell someday. We're talking about real retirement savings, 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, money that's invested and meant to fund life after work. Liquid, accessible, built for income. Because when the paycheck stops, that's what matters. So how rare is $1 million in retirement accounts? Shockingly rare. Only about 3% of retired households in the United States have $1 million or more saved in retirement accounts. 3%. That's roughly 3 out of every 100 households. Not individuals, households. That includes married couples combining everything. If one spouse has $600,000 and the other has $400,000, that counts as one household reaching $1 million. Still, only 3%. Let that sink in. Now here's where it gets even more eye-opening. The median retirement savings for all households in America, across every age, is under $100,000. That means half of all households have less than that. Less than $100,000. Think about that for a second. We're talking about funding potentially 20 or 30 years without a paycheck, and the typical family doesn't even have 6 figures set aside. Even households approaching retirement, people in their late 50s and early 60s, aren't sitting on massive balances. The median for that group hovers around a few $100,000. Using the classic 4% withdrawal guideline, that might generate maybe $12,000 to $16,000 per year in income from investments. That's before taxes. That's not luxury. That's not yachts and beach houses. That's survival money. And that's why so many people end up working longer than they planned, or relying heavily on Social Security, or downsizing, or quietly worrying in the background. Now here's the confusing part. You might be thinking, but everything is more expensive now. Homes cost more, stocks are higher, incomes are higher. Shouldn't $1 million be common by now? It sounds logical, but inflation works both ways. Yes, asset prices rise, but so do rent, groceries, gas, insurance, healthcare, property taxes. And when everyday life gets more expensive, it becomes harder to invest consistently. People aren't skipping investing because they don't care. They're skipping because life is expensive. And that's what makes the $1 million milestone so rare. It's not just about investing well, it's about surviving financially long enough to keep investing. So what does $1 million actually do for you in retirement? Using the 4% rule, a $1 million portfolio can generate roughly $40,000 per year before taxes, adjusted for inflation over time. On its own, that might not sound life-changing, but now add Social Security. The average Social Security benefit is roughly $20,000 to $25,000 per person for a single retiree. That could mean $60,000 to $65,000 in total annual income. For a married couple, potentially $80,000 to $90,000 combined. Now we're talking about something meaningful, especially if housing is under control. And here's the hidden variable nobody talks about enough. Housing costs determine almost everything. If your mortgage is paid off, that retirement income stretches dramatically. Without a rent or mortgage payment draining thousands per month, $60,000 to $90,000 per year feels very different. It feels stable. It feels secure. Compare that to the average retired household spending roughly $50,000 per year. Suddenly, $1 million plus Social Security isn't just okay, it's comfortable. It's breathing room. It's not about flying private, it's about sleeping peacefully. But here's where it gets emotional. When you're in your 20s or 30s and your retirement account has $5,000 or $20,000 or even $75,000, $1 million feels impossible. It feels fictional. Saving $300 or $500 a month feels pointless against a seven-figure target. Progress feels invisible, slow, almost embarrassing. But here's what most people misunderstand about wealth. Compounding hides in the early years. A $50,000 portfolio growing at 7% earns about $3,500 in a year. Not exciting, but a $500,000 portfolio at the same rate earns $35,000 in a year. And $1 million portfolio, that's $70,000 in growth without adding a single new dollar. Same rate, different base. The math didn't change, the scale did. That's why the journey feels so slow until it doesn't. In the beginning, your contributions matter more than your returns. In the middle, it feels repetitive and boring. Then one day, the growth itself becomes larger than what you're contributing. And suddenly, the curve bends. Not because of luck, not because of one perfect stock pick, but because you stayed consistent long enough for time to work harder than you do. That's what $1 million really represents. It's not flashy, it's not loud, it's decades of quiet discipline. It's saying no when others say yes. It's driving the reliable car instead of the impressive one. It's investing during market crashes when everyone else is panicking. It's continuing contributions when headlines scream fear. It's choosing long-term freedom over short-term dopamine. And that's why only 3 out of 100 households get there. Because most people don't fail due to intelligence, they fail due to consistency. The $1 million milestone isn't about being special, it's about being stubborn. Stubborn enough to keep going when progress feels small, patient enough to ignore comparison, calm enough to stay invested when markets drop 20 or 30%, disciplined enough to automate contributions and forget about them. And here's the part nobody says out loud. $1 million doesn't guarantee luxury, but it does buy options. It buys time. It buys flexibility. It buys the ability to choose how you spend your days instead of being forced by necessity. It means a car repair doesn't cause panic. A medical bill doesn't destroy plans. A market dip doesn't erase security. It means retirement becomes a choice, not a gamble. And maybe the biggest reward isn't even the money. It's the mindset you build along the way, the patience, the restraint, the long-term thinking that separates reacting from planning. That mindset spills into every area of life, and every little decision you make now compounds into something meaningful years down the line. From skipping an unnecessary expense to making strategic investments, all stacking quietly like bricks, until suddenly you realize the foundation you've built is strong enough to support your future in ways most people only dream of. So if you're building toward that number right now and it feels far away, understand something important. It's rare for a reason, and rarity doesn't mean impossible, it means valuable. Almost no one retires with $1 million saved, but the few who do didn't get there overnight. They got there quietly, consistently, patiently. And if you're willing to stay in the game long enough, the same math applies to you. The question isn't whether $1 million is still a lot of money. The question is, are you willing to do what only 3% are willing to do to reach it? Think about the choices they made. Consistently saving a portion of their income, even when it hurt, avoiding lifestyle inflation when everyone around them spent freely, investing through market crashes when fear made others retreat, prioritizing long-term stability over short-term pleasure, and staying disciplined when the world seemed to reward instant gratification. Those hundreds of small, seemingly insignificant decisions compound into something extraordinary over decades. It's not about luck. It's not about winning the lottery or catching a perfect stock. It's about persistence, patience, and planning. And here's a reality check. You can start late, but the earlier you start, the easier it is to harness the magic of compounding. Every month, every contribution, every disciplined decision adds up, often silently, almost invisibly, until one day you look back and realize you're closer than you ever imagined. And yes, reaching $1 million in retirement savings won't make life extravagant. It won't solve every problem, but it will change the way you live. It gives you options, freedom, and control, the ability to say yes to opportunities and no to unnecessary stress. It turns fear into security. It turns uncertainty into choice. That's why this milestone matters, even if it doesn't seem glamorous, because it's the foundation of independence, stability, and peace of mind. And finally, remember this. If you feel behind, if the gap feels too wide, don't panic. The only people who truly fail are those who quit, who stop trying, who let time slip by. If you stay consistent, if you keep learning, if you keep contributing, your journey can mirror those rare 3%. Every smart decision, every disciplined habit, every dollar saved is a vote for your future freedom. The moment you internalize that, $1 million stops feeling like a distant dream and starts feeling like a reachable milestone. One day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't one massive leap that got you there, but thousands of small, intentional choices. And when you reach it, you'll understand. It's not just the money. It's the mindset, the discipline, the patience, and the freedom that truly make it priceless. So start today. Make the choices that matter, stay consistent, and give time the chance to work for you. Almost no one retires with $1 million saved, but those who do, they didn't just reach a number. They created the life they wanted, quietly, steadily, and deliberately. And that, more than anything, is the real win.